Okay, looks like we are recording. So thank you again for being here. And let's go ahead and lead into introductions. So tonight we have Gina Anderson. She works at our district office.
Hello, everyone. Welcome. So excited to have you here for this informational night. And I would like to put a plug just out really quickly for our team. I'm not going to have a whole lot to do with our presentation tonight because my job really is just to support at the district level. But Ms. Hay, Ms. Bozeman, and Ms. Van Limpet are amazing. So you are in really good hands to learn more about our program.
And then Ms. Bozeman.
Hi, I'm Ms. Bozeman, Molly Bozeman, and I am the remote mentor for the distance learning program. I just wanted to welcome everyone. I'm going to be your first point of contact for this program. So when your student is in distance learning next semester, if they have any questions, they're going to be getting weekly updates from me. I'm going to be inviting them to a Google Classroom. You can think of me almost like their online counselor. It's going to be very important that they respond to my emails, that they're checking my updates, and that if I'm letting them know that they need to get something done, they should do it. I am their first point of contact, and if they need anything, if they're having trouble with an assignment, if a teacher's not replying, if their computer's having problems, if an assignment, any kind of issue, your student can email me because I'm their mentor. And that's what my job is to be there for your student 24/7. And I'm just here for you guys. So really nice to meet you, and I'm glad you're here.
And then Julie.
Hi, I'm Julie. I would be, I guess, like the second point of contact. I'm also here for your students. I'm here to support them as they go through their classes. My kind of support more works with like their classes. So if they had any questions about math or English, they can email me. I do what's called live support services Monday through Thursday at a certain time. And so if a student wanted to meet with me to get some help with a class, kind of like tutoring, that's what I'm here for. I also do send out emails as well. So sometimes your student may see an email from me. So they may get an email from both Ms. Bozeman and I. They work just the same. I also have a Google Classroom that I will be inviting students to, and that's how they get access to their live support sessions.
Yes, it's very important. If you get an email from Miss Julie too, make sure you reply. Thank you.
Well, we are here to welcome you to the new opportunity that you're joining into us with. And we wanted to take an opportunity to provide this informational night as truly our second semester of the secondary distance learning program. So we've had a great opportunity as this team to have our first initial semester and have worked great with many of our secondary program. This is a grade 6 through 12 program, and we look forward to learning together, reflecting together, and growing together in the educational opportunity. So we are going to have about a 25-minute presentation where we walk you through the different components that you could expect as a family and as a student. And then we will have a Q&A session at the end if there's anything specific that you need to ask. I believe that one of the major things we want to say to you is that while you're joining a different program for distance learning, you are still a Lake Stevens School District student, and 2, you are still a student of the school that you are assigned. That staff is still available and ready to work with you. That staff includes administrators, intervention specialists, counselors, and so we are just an additional part of that team. I happen to be one of the administrators at the high school, but am supporting the program from a place of a district point of view, and then specifically with the high school students. So again, welcome, and we are very excited to have you, and we will look at the Q&A and those questions at the very end. So if you can be patient with us, that will be great. Thanks.
Right, so this is my slide. So Stride is the online program that your student will be using. Sometimes it's also called Peak. The biggest thing to know is that almost all of the resources that you or your student would need comes from Stride. Some classes will have outside resources or materials that they'll email or they'll mail to you, but not all classes will have this. So for an example is if your student is taking an art class, um, depending on the art class, they will ship the materials to you, but just know that not every single class will have outside materials. So any textbook or any book that a class will need will be in the program itself. And then each teacher,
Miss Julie, I'm
yes,
so sorry. I need to interrupt. I do see something in the chat indicating that some people might not be able to see. Michelle, can you put into the chat whether you can see the screen now? You should be able to hear us and then see information on the screen itself. Go ahead and put that into the question if you can see us now or if not.
Also, while we're waiting on that, if you guys want to take notes, feel free to take notes because we are going to be giving a lot of information to you guys. So if you do have a pencil and paper, now would be a great time to grab a piece of paper if you don't have one.
Okay, so he's seeing in the question and answer that Michelle can hear us, but the screen is all black. So Michelle, I'm not sure what's going on, but I think what I'd like to ask you to do, knowing that you can hear us, go ahead and listen, and we are recording, and then we will reach out to you via your email after this and send you the recording so you'll be able to see the visuals as well.
Mm-hmm.
So some other resources are provided. So each class has their own content teacher. So your biology class or your science class will have its own teacher, and your teacher will also be available to answer any questions. You'll be able to email that teacher in addition to being able to email Ms. Bozeman and I. There's also phone help. You can also call for support. Speaking of phone numbers, here is some contact information. If you need a teacher or tech support, this is the number to call. This is the peak assistance. If you have Chromebook or Skyward issues, that would be through the school district. Then my email is here if you need to get a hold of me. And then Miss Bozeman, the last two, those are how to get a hold of Miss Bozeman, especially as she is your mentor. And then for any students with an IEP.
Can we go back to Julie's previous slide real quick? There's one important thing to note. As far as the live chat support, live chat is through the online portal, and that's if you're having any kind of issue. There will be a link at the bottom of all of my emails where you can use that live chat tech support. You're not chatting with us, but you're chatting with the tech team. So if your class is frozen or if something won't load, those are the best people to talk to, is that live chat link. And then the live class sessions are real. You should go to your live classes whenever they are scheduled. They usually happen in the morning, and you do need to set the time zone to make sure that your live classes are working correctly. And we'll go over all of that. I just wanted to make sure to mention the live classes. This isn't all on your own. You do have to go to class. Okay, and alternative learning experience. So ALE, we say that a lot, ALE. And what do we mean when we say ALE? It's different than brick and mortar. ALE follows certain laws that we have to follow too. And there's a lot of alternative learning experiences. You might have heard of HomeLink, and that's an ALE program. Our program is also an ALE program, and there's something called a WSLP. It's a student learning plan that can be adjusted, and the learning plans have certain requirements that your students have to follow to stay in our program. You need to understand as the family that your opportunity to be in this program might change if your student isn't on top of their work. If they are failing intervention plans, they can be exited and have to go back in person. So it is important that students follow their learning plan and follow ALE guidelines so that they can stay a part of our alternative learning experience. So there are copies of the WSLP, and they're going to get a copy of it on the Google Classroom to sign. They need to sign the contract that they are in an alternative learning experience and that they will follow the guidelines. So we just wanted to make sure you guys knew about that and knew that it's a little bit different than going to an in-person school.
And we will share this presentation with folks just so you're aware. So if someone's struggling to see the screen based on your tech in your space, then we will share the presentation with the recording so that will be available.
Okay, so very important for 10th, 11th, and 12th grade. So if you're going to LSHS right now, when you signed up, counselors may or may not have informed you, your family, that distance learning can create graduation delays. So when you signed up for this program, parents and students need to understand that our program does not have CTE options. A lot of students struggle to pass the math state test. And in a situation like that, if they are unable to pass their state test, they do something called a pathway. And our program does not offer the CTE pathway option. Your student needs to be expected to pass a standardized test such as the SAT, the state test, or the ASVAB, so that if they plan on staying in this program and graduating. So this is something to talk to your counselor about if you're concerned that your student won't be able to pass their state test, making sure that they have the right CTE credits. If they're a senior, they might already have enough CTE credits and they're fine. If they're a junior, they might have the CTE credits that they need to graduate. But it is something good to check with your counselor and make sure that you know what your pathway is and that you know what your options are.
Thank you, Ms. Bozeman. As part of the process, we are sharing with families tonight examples of a couple of schedules, and Ms. Bozeman will be going through that. We want to make sure that you are recognizing that there are required times as part of your school day, and that there is specific times for students with IEPs that is daily for their resource, what we would call specially designed instruction, or SDI minutes, that are being served in their IEP. So there is some requirement on our end educationally to make sure that all students are getting served, and then specifically with students with IEPs, making sure that they're getting those service minutes as appropriate. So I'll have Ms. Bozeman go through a couple of schedule examples so you can see what a day could look like. It's really vital that you recognize that while you're coming to distance learning, for some of you, a variety of reasons, some for health control reasons, some for a need to be at home versus being at school in a regular school day, there are some expectations that you are going to be working through coursework that's going to be equivalent to a school day of 6.5 hours. What the added benefit is you're not dealing with the typical passing period, the typical lunch. You're getting to do it from the comfort of your home and those kinds of things, or a work area of wherever you've set up. But there will be live sessions for your teachers. There is a hope that and a goal that you would work 5 to 6 hours per day completing assignments, because this is a hefty lift. And we don't want to mince words with that and make you think that an hour a day will be enough. It will not be. And so we want to be clear about those schedules. So Ms. Bozeman will share that.
Yeah, and bouncing off of what Deb just said, kind of the takeaway from this meeting is that if your child does have, if they struggle with academic work, if they're switching programs because they're failing their classes, if that's a reason why you want to switch online, or if your child has problems with deadlines or motivation, if they're struggling with motivation because of COVID, that's different. But if they've had a history of struggling with motivation throughout their since joining school, this is a tough program to be motivated without a teacher reminding you what to do, without somebody sitting next to you reminding you what to do. Your student does have to have a lot of motivation for this program, and it is a lot of work. And one thing is, creating a schedule will really help your student feel like their day makes sense. And every schedule is different. So I'm going to, on the first day of school, I'm going to have a training session for students to know where to click to figure out when their live classes are. I really encourage, as soon as you get the welcome email, log in and start clicking around, start practicing open up your classes, start practicing looking at the calendar, make your own calendar that matches the online calendar so that you know when things are happening. Put alarms on your phone so that you're not missing your classes. And then once you know when your classes are, then create a visual schedule that you can follow every day. And I would even put it in your bathroom, put it on your fridge, put it next to your bed so that you're not missing class, so that you're getting everything you need to get done by the end of the day. And that will really help. A visual schedule is essential. And I am happy to have a meeting with your student to go over the visual schedule. The one we just saw was the Gen Ed schedule. So if your student typically has 6 classes, you can choose when those time slots are. For example, you can see that this student works on chemistry every day, but the yellow, you can look at the yellow right there, the fine art class. The art class, they only work on it three days out of the week. That's probably their easier class, so they've just chosen to only do art 3 days a week. You can make your own schedule in many kind of ways, but you do need to pay attention to, you can go to the next slide, Deb, pay attention to your office hour times. So this student decided to do 1 subject per day. And this student, and what that means is that they're working on English, not for an hour on Monday, they're working on English for 5 hours on Monday. They're just doing English all day. And then they have 11, they have some art help, and then they've decided to do lunch at 1 p.m. every day. And then they're going to Miss Julie's life support class after school that starts at 2 o'clock. It's from 2 to 4 p.m. You can stop by anytime. And then you can see on these highlighted, this student highlighted the required meetings that she's making herself go to. There's a live history class on Wednesdays that's required to go to, but art help, that's not required. That's only if she needs the art help, she could show up to the student's office at the teacher's office hours. And then you can see at noon on Thursday, this student is working on math for 5 hours on Thursday. And then they have my mentor meeting. The mentor meetings are always on Thursday at 2 o'clock. And then sometimes we have special high school meetings on Tuesdays at 2 o'clock. But you can write this down. Mentor meetings are every Thursday at 2 o'clock. And then you can see there's some weird times here on the student's schedule, and they called it night help. Their PE teacher has office hours at 6 p.m. and the English teacher has office hours at 5 p.m. Do they have to go to office hours? No, but if they're failing English, they could go at 5 p.m. and meet their teacher to get help. So every teacher has different office hour times. Every student's schedule is different, and that's why it's really important to make a visual schedule.
Molly, if I could just add one thing.
Yeah.
It's really important to know that how you do your classes is totally up to you. But just like if you were going to in-person school, you should be logging in every day, checking in all your classes, but logging in every single day, working a little bit for each class. That way it's not so hard to fall behind.
Mm-hmm. And the previous schedule we were looking at was a student without an IEP. This student does have an IEP, this schedule example, and they decided to do 1 subject per day. But there are still, and I know Julie said whenever you want, but if there's a live session, you should go to that, and you should mark it on your visual schedule. So this student has a resource room and they have to go. It's at 1 o'clock every day and they should go. Some students I only meet with on Mondays and Wednesdays because they're staying on top of their work. But on the first day of school, if you have an IEP, you need to show up to my class and we need to make a plan. What is your support plan? What is your IEP going to look like? And for if you don't have an IEP, just make sure to have that 2 p.m. and Deb, you can highlight that 2 p.m. on Thursdays is the mentor meeting where there will be a lot of important updates from me for this program. Okay, so like we said again, I know we've said it a million times, a visual schedule. And here's kind of examples of visual schedules you can buy for $10 on Amazon. or you can stop by Target, what have you, pick the one that you like the most. But it should really be visual, and it should be a commitment that your family is making, what you're doing on Mondays, what you're doing on Tuesdays, what you're doing on Wednesdays. It should really be figured out, and it should be a family decision. And parents, make sure to support your student with deciding what they can handle. Making a schedule. So create a schedule that works best for your family. Some of you are choosing the online, maybe because your student has a part-time job, and that's just the way it is. But you still need to make that commitment, and you need to sit down and make that schedule together as a family. Make sure it's realistic and manageable. If your student is overwhelmed, if they aren't getting sleep, if they're working until 9 o'clock every night, something needs to change, right? So you can always email me to have a meeting, and I can help you make your schedule better. I can always give parents advice. I have a phone number. You guys can text me anytime if you're struggling with following a schedule. There's a lot of things that you can do to create incentives and systems that work for your family. One family decided, well, if you log into all your classes every week, then we're going to go fishing on Thursdays. They put fishing on their schedule because that's something that really motivated the student to get their work done. So find incentives that work for you guys to stay on track.
I think pairing with what Molly and Julie said in regards to a schedule, I have a personal story in relation to this process. I have a child that's 28 now, and in their high school career, they were very active in band and music and drama, and that adjusted their need for a schedule at Bethel High School. And so we had a partnership with Bethel Online Academy, and so my kiddo was a dual enrolled student. And so that visual schedule of putting that somewhere in a public space in your house is really important. That incentive-based model is really important. This is one of the first opportunities for your child to help create the schedule that fits for them. And so in our family, the question to my kid was, do you want to be doing schoolwork on the weekend? No, Mom, I don't want to be doing schoolwork because I have band practice and I'm going to be doing these gigs and I want to be able to go there. Great. Then we have to build a schedule during Monday through Friday that fits so you're not having to do schoolwork on the weekend, which meant there were more assignments to do Monday through Friday. And then every day is a revamp, not a revamp, but an adjustment to the schedule. If, for example, on Monday, there ended up being a special band practice that they needed to go to, and there was only going to be a couple hours of the day they could do their schoolwork. Whatever they missed doing on Monday had to be redistributed Tuesday through Friday. And we did that as a family. That schedule of all the assignments was in our kitchen on a door. And then it could be done for us, it was done in pencil, and we could adjust and shift and move. And that level of control and power for my kid was the first time in their educational career that I truly watched them go, I can do this. I understand. I'm in control of my day. A bell is not telling me when to go to English class. And I am getting to say, I get to do the stuff I love, and I'm doing the stuff I have to. And it was this really great balance for our family. And it was important to me to participate in this program in our district, one, because of my personal experience, and then two, just because of the love that I have for options for students and families. And this truly is an opportunity for option. And so when we talk about how difficult this pandemic has been in these last 3 years, we can also talk about the rainbow and the hope that's come from it, which is these moments where we have learned different ways for students to learn and access school, and it's created these opportunities. So we are so excited to be part of it, and at the same time want you to recognize the family commitment that you're making and recognize the place of accountability for yourself as the adult of the family, as for the student, and how you have to equally participate. Otherwise, this becomes a place of pressure and a place of stress versus a place of opportunity and growth.
Yeah, a lot of parents, they say, I didn't realize I was going to have to be a teacher. And you're not going to be their teacher, but you are going to be their accountability. You're going to be their attendance office. Your parents, you're going to have to be checking to make sure they logged in. And make sure that if they have a doctor's appointment on Monday, that then they stay up later to finish what they missed. Or if they are helping babysit during the day because there's something going on. Like, there's a lot of things that happen in the household that is out of, not out of control, but it's everyone, the whole family has responsibilities that they have to meet, and making sure that those responsibilities don't interfere with getting the work done either at night or on the weekend sometimes. So just making sure that the work does get done at some point. And it is very different this year. This is Common Core. This program reflects what most schools do across the country, which is standards based in Common Core. That means they have to do a bunch of little tasks that show that they understand a certain standard. This is a mastery-based program, and effort goes a long way, but in person, a teacher can see the effort that's happening. They can give partial points and things like that. And with this program, it's more, did you get the answer right or not? It's not really it's not as relational as you would get in a typical school, where the teacher can see you're trying, they can see you're doing your best, but they can still give you like a decent grade on something. In this program, you don't have that relationship. So when we say self-paced, that doesn't mean that you can work as slow as you want to. What that means is that you need to work to the highest quality, the most you can get done per day using your pacing guides. You're going to be doing a lot of learning by reading. There isn't any hands-on. There's no participation, raising your hand, getting points for raising your hand. You have to read everything, write out the answers, and make sure you're getting it turned in. Most of this program is just writing. You're writing for science, you're writing for math, there's a lot of writing and typing. So just understanding that piece, that all of this is up through a computer, and screen time can hurt your brain. So having breaks in your schedule so that you're not glued to a screen all day is super healthy. So there is a link there for how to navigate Stride. There's a video that helps you. We will be sharing this presentation, but this is really important to show up on the first day of school, because I am going to be showing you guys all of this, where to click things, how to open up your assignments, how to turn things in, how to save something as a PDF. Google Docs don't really load correctly in this program, so you have to save your work as a PDF and then upload it. There's just little things that students don't know about because they don't come to the mentor meetings. So really make sure that the students come to the mentor meetings and learn all those tips and tricks for how to make this online program work.
So parents will not have guardian accounts this week. You won't have them yet, but I just wanted to talk about guardian accounts real quick. So your student has their own student account that they get to log into and do the work. Parents and guardians will get their own accounts that allows them to log in, check on your student. So what it is how I set it up is I use Skyward Family Info. So if there's an email address in Skyward, I will use that. Generally, if there's 2 guardians in the household, I will set up an account for both guardians. That way both guardians can have that access. But it's just another way for you to be connected with your student. You get to see their progress, and if you have any questions, you can always email Ms. Bozeman or I, but definitely within the next couple of weeks, once second semester starts, be on the lookout for that guardian account email. And then if you haven't received it, you can always definitely email me and let me know, and I can fix that for you.
We love the guardian accounts because you can see here in this picture that you can actually see how much time your student has spent on their classes. You can see if your student is behind schedule. There's 6 different categories a student could be in. Behind schedule means that they need to work a little bit faster and turn things in more often. Idle means they haven't turned things in, they haven't even logged in for a few days. So if they're telling you that you're doing it and you check the guardian account and it says idle, they're not actually doing it. They might be playing video games in their bedroom. So make sure that you're checking the guardian account, you're checking your student's attendance, and the parents can actually log in, see how much time the student is spending on each class. You can see here where it says red and it says need attention. You can click there and view which things need attention and which things they're doing they're doing really well at. So you can also see not started, the student didn't start one of their classes, on target, that's a good thing. So if you see on target 3, that means they're on target for all of their classes. And so it's really important to check the Guardian account. If for some reason 2 weeks from now or 3 weeks from now, you still don't know how to log in as a Guardian and it's just not working, just email me and we will make sure that your Guardian account is working. You can call me on my work cell phone and we can make sure that that's working on your phone, and you can actually check on your student when you're at work or whatever you need to do. 98%, but actually only 5%. Okay, so know where you stand. So this program, it'll tell you the scores that you get on everything that you turn in. And a lot of students think that that's their grade. So for example, when you log in, there's this big bubble and it'll say 86%. But what that's saying is the stuff that you have turned in, you have an 86% average. That doesn't mean that your grade is going to end up being 86% or that you're 86% done with the class. I have a student who it says on the front side of their card, it says 90%, but if you turn the card over, you can see in this picture, they only finished 29% of their class. They are going to fail. So if your student is showing you the front of their card and saying, look, mom, everything's great, make sure that they flip over the card and you can look at the back and see if their arrow is lining up where it should be. You can see these completion arrows, and you can see the red arrow is where they're at and the black line is where they should be. This student is ahead in 2 classes and they're behind in 4 classes. See that black line is where they should be. And then this is kind of a pacing tracker that helps student know if they need to work a little bit harder in a certain class and helps them keep on top of things. There's also something called a pacing guide, which is really important. If you guys don't have a printer at your home, I think it's a good investment to go buy a printer, because there's a lot of these assignments that are easier to do if you just print it out, take a picture and upload it to the system so it gets graded faster and you can finish it faster by printing it off. Also, you can print off the pacing guides and then have a daily checklist with due dates. And then what happens if I'm struggling? Make sure to print your grading information. Every class has different percent weights. Usually, of course, tests are worth more. So if you're behind for some reason, you got COVID or you're sick or something and you need to catch up faster, of course, submitting a few tests will make your arrow jump faster and you can catch up faster if you're turning in things that are worth more points. You can find out which things are worth the most points by finding the grading information PDF, and I can train you guys how to do that. Pacing guides are essential. My plan is to upload pacing guides for the students to their Google Classroom, but if you want them right away, I do have a video that shows you how to go make those pacing guides yourself. And then mentor one-to-one meetings. If you need goal setting or schedule planning, just hit me up for a meeting. And if you need after school help, that's what we call live support. So live support can also help you get caught up. And if you are invited to an intervention meeting, or if Google Classroom, if something pops up on Google Classroom that says intervention plan, that's a pretty serious thing. That means you're failing multiple classes or you haven't logged in a while. So we are there for you if you need an intervention plan. We'll get weekly progress tracking for all students. You will get a lot of emails from this program. And when your teachers say, hey, check in with me, please reply, just say, got it. You need to reply to your teachers sometimes or they'll mark you absent for that week. So it is really important to check your emails every day and not to just delete things. If your teacher emails you, reply to them, got it. You do have to check your emails. And you have to make a commitment to access those supports when you need it. And I just wanted to let you know that we are here for you, and your school's still here for you too. If you need to go to the library once a week to help you focus, or if you want, the libraries are still available for our program if you do need to come to the school for state testing or whatever you need. You're still part of your school. Oh, and you
Correct.
can still be in clubs too,
Absolutely.
I believe, and sports.
Yep, athletics and clubs. And so as we close out the night, we do want to be mindful that you are receiving a Lake Stevens School District diploma. And as such, the diploma requirements apply, which is these that are listed here on the screen with the 24 credits, the state testing or pathway, the high school and beyond plan, and the community service. And so when we share this presentation, there will be details here related to the CTE pathway, as Molly stated earlier, about how distance learning cannot offer CTE courses. That is not a Lake Stevens School District rule, that is a state CTE rule. And so you would want to partner with the high school counselor to make sure that you're getting everything that you need that is going to get you and lead you to your diploma. For the high school specifically, here are our counselors, but as I said earlier, all of our schools, you are still connected to the school that you would attend. So if you're in North Lake Bulldog, then you would be connected to that counselor. As many of our students have been high school age students, so we wanted to make sure that we listed this. So we do really appreciate having you here tonight, and we will share the recording and share the presentation so you have access to those materials. But if you have any questions, we are all available. You can find our emails on the district website, on our individual school websites, and as they've been shared in this material. So thank you to our team. So thank you, Ms. Anderson and Mrs. Bozeman and Ms. Julie for being here. You guys are in amazing hands with this staff and the program. It's a quality education that you'll be getting in the process. So we are looking forward to partnering with you and sharing with you. So what we'll go ahead and do, Miss Gina, do you have something?
Oh, yes, I did want to throw one thing in here. We are doing something different this semester. We're having this informational night before students enroll in the program because we want to make sure that families are completely aware that this is a self-paced program, that a student's teachers are through the screen, and that they have Molly, who is their mentor, who is a Lake Stevens School District employee, and that this is a really high quality program, but that it is difficult. So we want our families to know that. Mm-hmm. So you have expressed interest by letting your counselor know that you are considering this program. If after hearing this information you think, I don't know that it's a good program for me, then please contact Ms. Bozeman. Email her. Her email is just Molly_Bozeman at lkstevens.wednet.edu, just like all of our other emails. And just please let her know, thank you so much, just not interested. Mm-hmm. If you are interested though, you don't have to do anything. What we will do is in the coming, I believe, week or so, we will enroll your child in the program, which will start January 25. And then shortly after the enrollment, which will start next week, you will get an email that says, welcome to the program, here are your next steps. And then you'll start actually getting information from Stride once we enroll you in the program. Remember, Stride is the online component of the program itself.
And to follow up on what Gina's saying, this program, parent support is essential. Student maturity and reliability. We have a few students who are graduating late after last semester because of this program. So if your student struggles with those things like motivation and support, just understand that you're signing up for something that is challenging, and it could impact the student's graduation timeline if they are struggling with the online courses. So we just want to make sure you guys understand that, but we know we're in a pandemic, and the most important thing is our health and our safety and making sure that your family is doing what's best for you guys. But we hope that this information session taught you a lot about our program and that you're excited and that you're ready to do online learning. And I can't wait to work with you guys. Thanks for coming tonight.
Perfect. Thank you, everybody. So we'll pause and provide opportunity for folks to type questions if you have specific questions. And if you have something that you think is more specific to your student and or your family, then sending a specific email to Molly and Julie will be great.
And if you've changed your mind about online learning, let me know by Sunday night, please. Email me by Sunday night.
Thanks for that clarification. That deadline's really important so we can get your child either enrolled in brick and mortar schedule or enrolled in this program. So again, if you've changed your mind, which we understand, just please let Molly know by Sunday night.
Okay, at this time, that's our formal presentation. And it looks like we have one question. Can you discuss the CTE credit pathway option? Yes, so the state has provided other opportunities for students to pass their state assessment, as well as the career and technical education has always been courses that the high school is offered. Maybe back like when I graduated in 1990, it would have been called vocational education. And so maybe that's a term that's more familiar. So they are programs and courses that are directly related to career and technical programming. They many times lead to apprenticeships. They many times lead to technical schools. We are connected to a program called Snow Isle that is based out of Mukilteo. And so we have students that are enrolled in our high school and they spend part of their day in the high school, starting in 11th and 12th grade, and then part of their day at Snow Isle. So it's a specifically funded course. They do job leadership readiness skills within that course. Go ahead, Molly.
And to add on that, how it impacts your student in the online program. So if your student was signed up for a class like culinary or digital design or a technical course, that they can't get that credit from this online program. So if they don't pass their state test, that means they might have to go back to the high school next year to do a class like that. They might have to do Snow Isle or a summer college, just something that counts for that credit if they struggle with state testing. So if they didn't pass their middle school state tests, that's a good sign that your student probably would have needed the CTE pathway. The CTE pathway is for students who struggle with standardized testing. So instead of doing, like the SAT, instead they take some fabrication classes or welding classes, and that's what gets them their diploma. So this is actually a really important thing. If your student struggles with standardized tests, they might need to come back to the high school to do 2 classes next year or something like that, so that they can figure out a way to meet their high school requirements. And the online program doesn't have those hands-on classes. So we just want to be clear about that. And if your students in 10th or 11th grade, they still have time to finish their CTE pathway their senior year, and they'll have a bunch of opportunities to pass their state test at this spring. So you'll know if you need to come back or if you can stay online next year based off of their state scores this spring. So it won't be a huge surprise.
And the high school website has a web-based course guide. And in that web-based course guide, there are videos, and then there are course explanations. And then on the district website is all of our CTE pathways, is another place for a resource to be able to look. One of the other questions was program difficulty has been stressed throughout the presentation. And is the difficulty due to being academically more challenging than curriculum, in person, or time management discipline required, or both? I would say that with new online programs, when online programs came out probably about 20 years ago, there was unfortunately only about a 25% passage rate, because what happened was it highlighted a need for executive functioning skills and students to be able to self-manage and self-pace. Since that time, online programs have found a way to create resources and pacing guides, and then have had added more staff in support of that. So the material, it's just a way to access the material that can make it more difficult, because it's not direct instruction in the same way an in-person classroom can be.
For example, a teacher would say, open up your book to page 50 and do questions 1 through 4, ready, set, go. The student has to figure that stuff out themselves. They have to figure out what page to go to. They have to figure out how to turn it in, how to do the assignment. And it's really tough to ask a question in the moment. When your student is sitting in a classroom, they can get help immediately. And there's like a delay that happens with online learning. So it really does take a motivated student and you
Mhm.
need to have patience. The teachers do grade things really quickly, and you get really quick feedback on, okay, I got 20% on that I just turned in. There's a lot of automatic grading that happens. So students, as soon as they finish something, they get their score right away. And if they get a bad score, they can retake it. So there is a lot of feedback, but I would say the answer to your question is both, because of the standards-based learning. A lot of teachers in our high school and our programs, we do a lot of project-based learning, and students are used to doing projects or working in a group with their friends and getting credit just by working in a group. Well, this program is all by themselves, so they really have to be able to do the work by themselves. And this program does catch cheating. A lot of students have bad habits of copy and pasting things from Google. So if a teacher, there's an automatic, you have to create your own answers. Otherwise, there's something in the system. It's some kind of technological robot. I don't know what it is, but it
It's
catches
embedded.
plagiarism. So
Mhm.
everything has to be in your own words if you want to get a good score. So
Perfect.
things
Thank
like
you.
that are what
Yep.
make it challenging.
Yep. And then another question that came up, if a student is in second year foreign language German, is the example, which is a full year program, will they continue the class for second semester?
Molly, do you know the answer to that, whether or not German is currently offered?
I don't know about German, but I know Spanish is offered. So if you could email me your question, the parent who asked that, if you email me, and then Deb, could you email me their name as well, and I can check on that with their counselor?
Yep, they have their first name listed, so it would be important that they go ahead and email you. Yep. Okay, perfect. They have a course guide for this, and since we're new to this, it'll be important that Molly checks with their counselor with the program to see what's available. And if it's not, then we would pause the German if that became one of your choices, and then we would add a different elective for second semester. They're semester-long classes, just like at the high school and at mid-high for 9th grade, so they're 0.5 credit value. The other question that came up is, can the student stop going to in-person school, waiting for the second semester to start online distance?
I would say you still need to finish your semester strong. Make sure you're passing all of your classes. Make sure, if I think there aren't, when is finals week, Deb?
It's next week. Finals are for the high school, final and mid-high. Finals are the 19th, 20th, and 21st. So Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. And you want to end your semester with the highest percentage point possible. Even if you end the semester with an F, the higher your percentage is, the less work you will need to do in credit retrieval that we have traditionally offered at the high school or in the summer during the school year and then in the summer. So we definitely don't want you to stop going. We want you to finish out, and then we would get you enrolled for the online distance learning for second semester. Perfect. Well, that ends all of our questions, and that gives us a full evening. It's 6:50 now, and so I'll go ahead and stop recording. And again, thank you guys so much for coming and being interested in this program. We can't say enough how great it has been to be able to serve a specific population of students and family in a different way, and finding resources and the space available to serve you guys. So again, if this is something you're interested in, please use our information here tonight to help inform your decision and move forward. And we look forward to hearing from you and working with you in second semester. Have a good evening, everyone.